Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Nigel Springett. I'm a chartered counselling psychologist working in the UK, along with my wife Tara, who is one of the authorities on the Kundalini awakening process. And together we see clients from all over the world, from every continent, in their Kundalini awakening process, whereby they have negative symptoms that they're trying desperately to control and understand, and that is part of the suffering, is not understanding what is happening to you. And maybe that's your issue too, in terms of why you're watching this video. And ultimately the Kundalini is an awakening of consciousness, a vast expansion of consciousness. But then that doesn't really help you, does it, in kind of understanding, so why am I feeling so bad? Why do my emotions go from one thing to another, or, instantaneously? Why do I have all these strange physical symptoms in my body? So to help clients understand what's going on in these terms, then we think about the Kundalini awakening as a metaphor of an ice block. So before the Kundalini awakening happened for you, then typically your body was effectively like an ice block. You were relatively numb. There was lots of emotional material that had been repressed in various parts of your body that you had no idea were there. And then the Kundalini happens, and often that's triggered by a very strong spiritual experience. So the Kundalini happens, and then it's like that Kundalini is heat that's going to heat up your body and start melting the ice. And that would be okay if the ice melted in a kind of gentle, easy kind of fashion. But for many people it's not like that. This ice starts heating very quickly and rapidly turns into a kind of raging river. And in that raging river are kind of big ice blocks of ice. And it's those, as they bang around, produce painful symptoms. And it's, if you like, it's the expansion of consciousness that's happening a bit too fast. And just to emphasize that point, what you'll notice is that if this is happening to you, every time you do a bit more spiritual practice, then the symptoms get worse. Every time you watch a video on spirituality, every time you read a spiritual book or go to a spiritual teacher, things start getting worse again. Why would that be? It's because all these things, the spiritual videos, the books, the teachers, etc., are highlighting, bringing more heat into your system. And the raging river just becomes more and more strong. So one thing to recognize about this raging river is that you need control. You need to learn how to, if you like, make the banks of your river higher so that the stream is controlled. And you need also to stop further heat coming into the system, so that you can start dealing with what's there, what has been awoken through the process thus far. And what we find is that in every physical symptom, weird as it may be, there is some negative emotion that's being held, and that negative emotion typically belongs to a relationship that either you're having or have had. And you may be interested to know that we find that with most of our Kundalini clients, there is or has been some relationship with a narcissistic person. Often somebody that you might describe as having narcissistic personality disorder. And so what we do is to help people to calm the system down through higher consciousness healing, and whereby we're helping them to generate kindness towards themselves and strengthen their relationship with their higher self. And then we start helping them to interpret the psychological material that lies behind these different ice blocks. The interesting thing in this metaphor as well is that if you think about water heating up, then as that heats up, it becomes like steam. And for us, that steam is like the bliss that can arise through the Kundalini awakening. And that's what happens increasingly as you control the negative emotions. If you like, the gift of the Kundalini starts becoming more real, and through that gift you can start developing a much more positive life in terms of the partner you want, the work you want, the home you want. Anyway, so that is something about the block of ice metaphor, and I really hope that that helps you to understand a bit more about what is happening to you in this process. Why is everything kind of so weird? And if you found that to be of value to you, please give me a thumbs up at the end of this video. I'll be very grateful for that. And by the way, if there's anything you'd like me to talk about more in depth, please make a note of that in your comments. Thanks very much. Bye for now.